Alrighty, what is going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to the channel for another market update. Hope everybody's having a lovely day. And with that being said, get into the TA. All right, so we're going to start off with the daily time frame, and we're going to go down to the smaller time frame. So we're going to start here with QQQ. I'm going to point out you do have a long-legged doji to the downside. So you call this pin bar candlestick. We're going to see if it turns into a hammer candlestick by the end of the day. But as of right now, buyers are stepping in. And before I proceed with the video, I'm going to let you know I do think we are going to continue this bounce before going much lower. I'm not saying we go much lower, but I do think we bounce before we go like decently lower. I'm just putting that out. And I'm not saying we go decently lower. I'm just saying before we go much lower. All right, you get what you picking up what I'm putting down. All right, so coming over here to SPY, I'm going to point out, I know there's a lot of lines here. We'll just take all those away for the candlesticks right here. I want to point out you have a bullish Harami candlestick formation. Then if you do, tomorrow we're going to see if you confirm it. I'm not saying you confirm it, but regardless, it is here. You had one here at the top. Look at that. You went up the next day and then boom, flat in your face after forming the hammer candlestick. But over here, you do have a hammer candlestick on QQ, and then we come over to ES, and I am going to point out, once we put this on, we do have, I know I have this, we could take that off. We do have the bullish falling wedge going on. I drew this over here on the hourly time frame. We're going to see if we get a breakout from here. We do have CPI on the 10th, which is Thursday, so Thursday morning before open, we'll have CPI. I can not guarantee that is going to bring us volatility into the market in one direction or the other, but I can say that is likely. All right. I do think that the market wants to trade flat or up at the current point in time. So that is also something I want to put out there. But we're going to come down here to the 4-hour time frame. We're going to take a look at this RSI. You have a bullish divergence going on in ES. Where does that stem from? Right here at the breakout level. That is where you ended up bouncing off of on Friday. And you formed that bullish divergence. And as of right now, we did get a pop. And if you do get a breakout, then I think we're going to see a bit more upside. But now we come over here to NQ. And here's where things are interesting. You have a quadruple bullish divergence with this point, this point, this point, and this point. See that right there. So you do have the quadruple bullish divergence going on NQ, which is NASDAQ futures. That is something that we will be talking about a little bit more moving forward here on the channel. We will be covering NQ and ES just because your boy is not transitioning over to futures trading, but I want to dip my feet in over there. And yeah, I got to get used to charting these charts as well. And, we already do chart and trade SPY and QQ. So, yeah, this price action over here on NQ and ES is much cleaner than if we come over here to RTY or YM, which is the Dow futures. I just don't like this unclean price action. I will stick to these two over here, the micros, which is MNQ and then MES. That is what I will be doing and dipping my feet in those waters. There will be that. But as you see, we do have bullish structure going on SPY, on QQQ, ES, and NQ. And I want to point out here on NQ, you do have this bull flag type of structure. And if you don't want to call it a bull flag, just call it a descending parallel channel. If you would like to put this on your own chart, let me just show you how. You draw a trend line from that point to that point. You extend it outwards. You hit control and you drag it. And that is literally how I, drew that nice little parallel channel / bull flag, whatever you want to look at it at. What I do want to point out is you have this bullish divergence going on. Well, what happened the last time you had one? All right, you did end up seeing a decent sized pop over here. How large was that pop? All right, that pop ended up, there was a 2.6% pop right there. You had one form over here. How long was that pop? All right, or how high did that pop go? 6.5%. What do we have over here? We had a 4% pop. So that's 3 out of 3 of the last occurrences that we had this going on right here. And keep in mind, those were just, either, just normal bullish divergences, or you had triple bullish divergences, I think, right here. But yeah, guys, now we have quadruple. So I do want to point out, I do think it's likely, more likely than not, that we do end up seeing a push out of here. And we did over here on QQQ on the 15-minute chart. You do have a triple bottom going on here. And what I told the Discord is I do think it's more likely than not that we hold this. just because you did end up, you know, what I just showed you. You have a quadruple bullish divergence going on NQ's 4-hour RSI. That is literally QQQ. And now what do you also have? Let's just say this over here doesn't exist. So now it's just a double bottom. You have this right here. You had your neckline right here. What do you got? You got a breakout from the neckline. You came up. You retested. As of right now, you're pushing off of that retest. So I do think price action, all right, price is respecting this bullish structure we got going on right here inside of this larger bullish structure, which doesn't have to be bullish. We could end up breaking down from this. But yeah, like I said, I do think it's more likely than not that we push up. Maybe we push up into CPI. And so up until Wednesday, we end up pushing up. I am not sure. But what I do want to point out is now that you got over here, you have nothing holding you back from coming all the way up here to 378. If you do end up continuing this push, I do think we probably are going to get sellers stepping in right here or slightly above a gap resistance. That is just something I want to put on your radar there. And if you do end up breaking down, let me just show you. I specifically will be watching over here on SPY. And by the way, you have the same exact thing going on over here, except SPY is stronger. It never ended up coming down, which is why you don't have a triple bottom. You just have this double bottom that was made over here. You did have a like ugly double bottom, you could call it, but regardless, you have this mini double bottom. You had the neckline over here. What do you got? You broke above that, and now you're just trying to push off of that. We're going to see what happens here, but once you are above 449.90, which is the high from this candlestick over here, you want to point out you got nothing holding you back from coming all the way up here to 452. And we'll point out QQ has confirmed a downtrend. I'm not saying we go much lower, but I am pointing out as of, you know, right here, once you broke right here, that is when you had your low, you had your lower high. And what do we have? Push down, we formed a lower low. So I am expecting naturally there to be another lower high unless we end up having to maybe CPI breaks us out of this bull flag and we end up continuing on the way. I'm not saying that's off the table as well. And I'm just going to point out anyone who thinks there's going to be a crash coming, just know you have to go level by level. Why? Because it sounds like nonsense if you're just calling for this 10 to 15% correction or anything really crazy, unless we really see proof that that's the case. All right, guys, if we come down here and we start really damaging this weekly chart, all right, which like I'll say on QQQ, all right, if you come down here and you break 363, then I'll say you're probably going much lower. All right, or not much lower, but then we're going to have to be watching this level over here at 358. On SPY, let's just point out, I see a lot of people, you know, doing that. And I know there's a lot of lines here. Let's just pretend that there's no lines there, all right? You have to break this breakout level right here. You have to come fill this gap, 442.97. You have to break below that to open up the door to 438. What happens then? All right. Well, if you break 438, then we're going to be watching 430. From 430, if you do manage to break below the weekly candlestick right here, all right, 431-ish, then we're going to be talking about 420. Until that is the case, we have no reason even to focus on this section of the chart. We are up here. All right, we're up here and we're going to have to see what happens moving forward. If you want, you can watch the weekly video. That is where I went over all of this in detail. And yeah, we just took a little step back and looked at the macro picture and macro point of view over there. So there's that. All right, so that's pretty much it, guys, over here on SPY and QQQ. What I will bring you over here, I will point out Apple. All right, so Apple is right here on this 0.38 Fibonacci retracement right there, and it actually did end up breaking down from this breakout zone, which I took off the chart because it's not relevant now. But excuse me, it did come down to this next point of support, and I am going to point this out. All right, I'm not good at Elliott wave. I'm not going to claim to be. I don't really try and include it in my analysis, and this isn't me including in the analysis. But for the Elliott wave people out in the audience, please feel free to leave a comment and let me know if I'm thinking of this correctly. I was thinking because someone brought up Elliott wave in the last video's comments. We got this. All right, you got wave 1, you got wave 2, you have wave 3, you have wave 4, you have wave 5. Why am I saying this is wave 4 and then wave 5? Because we busted through all-time highs. Does that not mean this is an impulsive wave count? And there's very clearly only a 1, you have a 2, and then you have a 3 here. So it can't be an ABC. Would this not be a 4 and then we continue on 5? And if I'm not mistaken, you should have an ABC in this wave 4. So, you know, maybe we do end up going lower because I don't see a retracement yet. So maybe we get a retracement and we go a little lower, and this would be your B wave and then a C wave, and then that would be finished somewhere. I don't know. And then we go back up. So let me know if I'm looking at this right. What I do know is you do have the daily on the daily time frame. You have your RSI down at 29 right now. It actually reached 28 down there today. And I just want to point out this is you know, marked the bottom every single time going back to your COVID 2020 crash. And even COVID 2020, you did end up having this one day where you went, you know, significantly low there, 5% lower, but then you had a 12% pop from there. And from the low that you put in, you did end up having an almost 20% pop. Then obviously we went lower and formed that bullish divergence there. But that was when we were crashing. I don't think we're crashing. Why? You come over here to SPY on the weekly time frame last week, you only had a 2.2% drop. Well, back in 2011, we could just come back over here. When you had the same exact catalyst, you had a 7% drop. You clearly saw everyone panicked. Over here, people aren't panicking. I just want to point that out, all right? And that is why I mentioned what I brought up earlier. Guys, why are we even going to talk about over here unless it starts being proven to us that price can't even get down there? As of right now, we're talking right here, guys. All right, so that is where we're going to finish up the index talk for the day. I do want to put these on your radar because someone ended up leaving a comment saying they were up like 7% on your account. And guys, I think that's freaking great. All right, off of the trade ideas, I don't mention a lot of them, but I can bring up some from time to time. So let's talk about them. PFE, that is one we brought up earlier in the Discord. But here's one I will put on your radar. I want to point out over here. All right, you did reach the bottom of your bullish falling wedge here. You can actually see on the weekly time frame. I really like the setup, by the way. I just want to say, and this is for a swing trade. All right, you can be in and out. You're probably going to get a quick move out of it, but I really like this one. All right, you have a triple bullish divergence going on the RSI while it's in oversold territory. All right. Typically, you don't spend too much time. This is going back to 2016, guys. You don't spend too much time on down over here. I'm not going to say they're fundamentally strong. There's a reason price is trading down here because, you know, who's behind price? Buyers and seller. Why is it spending this much time? I don't know. All right, so maybe something is different, but we're strictly talking about the charts here. You have this bullish structure going on. You're coming to the apex of the falling wedge here, or the triangle, whatever you want to look at this as. You know, triple bullish divergence going on over there. Now we come over to the daily time frame. Actually, I think it's the hourly time frame I was looking at this. All right, so hourly time frame. What do we got? What do I like about it over here? You have the double bottom going on, which is actually triple if you want to do that, and that is individuals. And then you have your triple bottom going on. And then guess what? This would be your neckline right here. You, as of today, you broke above the neckline. You came right up to your resistance, which makes sense why you're stalling out right here. It's exactly on resistance. But now I want to put something else on your radar on this chart. Boom. What if you do end up coming back, you back test the neckline of the double bottom or triple bottom, whatever you want to call it. Regardless, it's a bottom down there. All right. You definitely had a basing pattern formed down there. You broke out from the basing pattern, and we could end up seeing a retest of that basing pattern. And then guess what? What is that form? Let me open your eyes again. Boom. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. So I'm just putting it out there. A bunch of bullish structure. All right. A bunch of them. So this is what I like for a swing trade. We did already end up getting down in this one towards 95 early, or not 95, 35 early today. But yeah, I do think, like, hey, if you do want to attempt this one, you could end up, you know, seeing what candlestick forms down here. You could have very low risk trade over here. And yeah, I just want to point that out. If you do end up getting above 35.88, you do have a shot at breaking out, a pretty solid shot at breaking out. And then above that breakout, that is when you open up the door to coming up here at 37, and then all the way up here to 37.50. There you go. All right, now this is my favorite setup on the board right now. I just want to point this out. All right, so this is one that I actually just ended up entering. I like this one very much. Why is it my favorite setup? Risk reward ratio is extremely solid in my personal opinion on this specific trade if you're using this hammer candlestick as your risk. All right, the low of this, which also aligns with this 1278, I think the bottom literally was, yeah, so the low was 1278. You can see it over there. So that is what you're risking here. And let's just put on a long position right here. All right. Just hypothetically, let's say, the YouTube channel took this trade right here. All right. I think you do have a shot at getting all the way back up there. But even without that, even if you're just betting for a move back up here, my targets are going to be here and here. Honestly, guys, I don't like putting out targets because I have no way of knowing if these things are going to be hit. And, that's when backlash can come into, your boy Henry over here. So, but if I was to put targets on the board, which I did in the Discord, but it would be this right here. All right, 1393. All right, that would be the second target. First target where you're taking some off the table would be 1340. Now we did already end up taking this trade over here. And we got like 30 to 40% out of that one, and then it came back and luckily we scaled out. And guess what? We're running it back. So there's that. So yeah, this is just my favorite setup. I'm just pointing out you literally came and are back testing where you broke out from over here. And again, what do we just point out over on PFE? Well, this is on the daily time frame. We got this. We have a double bottom over here. And what do we got? We have the neckline of that double bottom. If you just take the zone here and you drag it out, what do you got? This is literally the neckline of this double bottom, and this is where you broke out from and had a pretty sick, nasty run. Am I saying you're going to run 20%? No, I am not. But I do think the risk to reward here is pretty sexy in my personal opinion. If you are trading either stock or trading options, whatever you want to go with, all right, I think it's sexy. So this is why this is my favorite setup at the current point in time. And yeah, the last one I want to open your eyes up to, which I think I might have even already said on this channel, is guys, Disney just looks so sexy to me. It really does. Not saying it's going to make, sparks fly anytime soon. Doesn't have to be immediate, but you do have earnings coming out literally on Wednesday. So that is something that would probably act as a catalyst. Can it tank off earnings? Yes, that's the risk. All right. But I think with what's going on here, I know there's a lot on this chart. I know. You had the last big falling wedge going on right here. I just want to point out you did end up breaking up from that thing and you ran quite a bit there. Am I saying that's going to happen? No, I'm definitely not saying that's going to happen. Can I say it's a possibility? Yeah. All right. Would I be holding out for that? No, I would not. But you got this massive bullish falling wedge going on the weekly time frame as the weekly RSI is not riding high in the sky. And then you also are right on your support over here from over here. So what do we also have? We have a giant double bottom going on. But to actually confirm the double bottom, you got to come and break above all the way up there, which I think is unrealistic for you to actually stay in that trade unless you're just riding shares and buying them for the long term. But would not be doing that. That's not what I'm saying at all here. All right. So inside that big bullish falling wedge, what do we have? We have a smaller falling wedge. Let's just take that off for a second. Let's just look at the smaller one. Well, you got this going on right here, and we can actually take this off real quick. All right. So now what are we looking at? We do have, all right, you have a boom, boom, boom. All right. And price is continuing to bounce off of this level. And then if you do end up breaking above here, now you did already confirm this double bottom, and that's one that Discord also ended up playing. And you did break out. Luck, we did end up taking the profits there. And then, as you see, this thing died the next day. So that was a good one. But, you fooled me once. Well, you didn't fool me, but, you fooled everyone else with the breakout. There you go. Came back. He gave you boy a second entry on it. I'll take it. All right. So this is one I really like. You do have the smaller bullish falling wedge here. And I guess now that you did end up having this over here, I guess we can extend that out here. And maybe it goes something like that. I don't know. I'm going to keep this out and just consider that a, false breakout here. But, things ain't looking too bad over here for Diz. That's something I will also put on your radar there. All right. And like I said, all right, you have your low over here. Where was this? This was 2022 low, but you come over here. Where was this? This was literally your March 2020 low. So that was your COVID crash low where you ended up crashing quite a bit into that level. It's all the way down to here, 81. That is a level. If we do end up seeing earnings bring you down here, that will be a level of interest. So there you go. You break out. All right. Honestly, I mean, hey, if you got in down here, your target number one would be up here at 87. All right. That was actually hit today. All right. Target number two, guess what? Right here at $90. All right. So that should do you well on your contracts. All right. With that being said, just know, yeah, I'll include these from time to time. I guarantee it. But yeah, they will always be in the Discord. There's so many freaking trade ideas in the Discord. I can't say I take all of them, but boy, do I pump out so many trade ideas, all right, over there. So that is the thing, all right. I will catch y'all in the next one. Peace.